All right, we should be back. Sorry about that. Shut up, Brad. Tammy Duckworth, by the way, I think legitimately could be a future president. I love Tammy Duckworth. If you guys have not seen the story behind Tammy Duckworth is a fucking badass. Penny, thank you for the 100 bits. By the way, Big Dumb Investor, my apologies. I didn't thank you before. Thank you for the gift subs. W. Joe, thank you for the sub as well. Trevor Noah was born in South Africa. Nicki Minaj. Rad, is Tammy Duckworth the one with one leg she lost in war? I believe so. Does she even have one leg? I think she lost them both. Yeah, I think she left both her legs over in Iraq. If you guys have never heard the story of Tammy Duckworth, she is fucking ridiculous. She's a badass. All right. She joined the army, got deployed to Iraq, wanted to join combat at a time when women were not allowed into combat. So she put in for the one job that would let her be in combat. She was a Black Hawk pilot. And she got blown up in Iraq and still came back. She is absolutely nuts. She is awesome. Billy Bean, talk about turning nothing into something. That's actually a good call out. Yeah. Bill Belichick. What about President Belichick? Right? Come on. There's crazier ideas. President Belichick. Big time, shut up. Wouldn't you want the pilot that didn't get blown up? President Ray Lewis. Oh, no. Peter Zahan. Fuck off, Penny. How about we put the CEO of Curiosity Stream? David Duchovny. Cream of Samuel guy, you're going to laugh at this one. I'm a Colts fan. I have not bought NVIDIA yet. Belichick would refuse to answer questions. You got to admit, there would be no fucking leaks in a Belichick administration. Oh, let's not go there with the Jeffrey Epstein. I already have Ulta calls, which are getting bludgeoned. I have like September 460s, I think. I need Ulta to do one of them 20% up things. President Hunter Biden, just to troll the people. The one issue I would say is, does Hunter Biden know that you can do illegal shit with not in front of camera? Like what? I mean, has that man ever smoked crack not in front of a camera? I don't know. It's meth, not crack. Oh, I'm pretty sure he smoked crack too. I'm pretty sure he smoked crack. Listen, I don't think there's a lot of people who like smoke crack who's going to turn down meth and vice versa. I think when you've already gone to the smoking crystalline form of super amphetamines or super uppers, I don't think you're that choosy, right? Rad says, you like how every time the GOP talks about Hunter Biden, they make him sound cool? Yep. Hey, I've said it. I'd much rather hang out with Hunter Biden than Donald Trump Jr. Barron Trump is off limits. I'm sure he's a cool kid. By the way, how fucking big is that kid? Is he like 6'5"? He's a fucking monster. Good for him, son. How about LeBron? LeBron be an interesting one too. Glup Shido, the CEO from Patagonia who donated his entire company. I've worked with previously the guy who at least was the head of HR. He was previously the head of HR there. 6'7", good lord, he's a big kid. That's talking about Barron Trump. Oh shit. Oh, fuck off. Yeah, Dean Carter I worked with back when I first started after grad school at Sears. And he was one of the best executives I've ever worked with by far. Like, if Dean Carter reached out to me, like, I'd go work for him. But he went on to go work for Patagonia, and he was very influential there. Rad, you're bringing up Colin Powell. Colin Powell, it was famous that a lot of people wanted him to run. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He felt that it was bad to be a military guy going into the, quote, presidency, despite the fact that he did eventually serve as Secretary of State. He would have been good. President Beldelphine, bathwater for the people. All right, guys. Earnings. We get Intuit and Workday at 4 o'clock. I would probably play against Intuit. I'd probably be in favor of Workday. All right, guys. Time. Who are the non-running women who would be president that don't threaten the male gaze? I have no clue. Yeah, Ulta is the one that I care about because I'm stuck in there. Brutal, brutal day. Affirm bloodbath tonight. If there's a God, yes. All right. Keep eyes for Workday and Intuit first. Workday and Intuit. J-Pow would be nuts to run for president, by the way. I think he'd be good, but like, yeah, he'd be insane. Like, why deal with that shit at his age? He's already served his country. All right. Workday and Intuit. And let me give you guys your points. Bears win cleanly and clearly. Oh, 50-50 breakdown. I'm not seeing really any movement, by the way, in Workday. I think that red candle you're seeing is based on the bid ask being crazy. Gang, gang. Ice cream so good. Then Intuit. So I'm keeping my eyes on Intuit on my screen. It looks like Intuit just reported numbers. They're down a little bit. Mint's talking shit about NVIDIA on X. Let them. That's fine. Yeah, not seeing a lot of movement in Intuit right now. Supposedly they reported. So again, keep eyes on Intuit and Workday. Those are the first two that are supposed to be up if you believe this, because we have Intuit, Workday at 4 o'clock. 4:05 is when we see Ulta, Marvell, Affirm, and Nordstrom. You got Workday up? Oh yeah, now Workday's up. You guys see the numbers, shout them out. Take care, Walker Reload. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with me. Yeah, Workday seems to be doing well. See if we get numbers. I've worked with Workday in the past, software-wise. It's an interesting product. Basically, Workday exists because SAP sucks. Here we go. Are we gonna get any fucking comparisons? Looks like Workday with beats on both up, top, and bottom line. So they grew 16% year over year. Subscription revenue was up 18% year over year. Yeah, looks like a big EPS beat. And that's a story we're seeing, by the way. That's the story we are seeing right now. All right. We're observing more companies doing really well on the EPS side than the revenue side, showing there is operational leverage there. Intuit. Apparently, they were very much into it. It looks like Intuit beat on both top and bottom. Intuit's in line in terms of guide. Promo says, to be fair, the fact that NVIDIA ended flat after insane earnings kind of proves your point that the risk reward was terrible going to ER. Expectations and positioning was mega bullish. I don't know. They outperformed the market really big. The whole market's down. It's hard to ignore the fact that we had a greater than 1% decline in the SPY today. It may have said that not playing NVIDIA was the right tactical move, but not because of anything having to do with NVIDIA. NVIDIA outperformed the market. Ulta's out. Come on. Imagine if NVIDIA did blow away earnings. You mean do shitty? Penny's calling out. Ulta raised outlook. Yay. I'm not. The stock's not moving. Yeah. NVIDIA would have gotten destroyed if they missed, and they would have deserved it after that last guide. Yeah, I'm not seeing significant movement, by the way, on Ulta. What I'm seeing, by the way, you see it down, but that's on the bid ask. Nordstrom's moving. Let me check Nordstrom. JWN is Nordstrom, by the way. I don't know why. Yeah, tomorrow's Jackson Hole. Whoa, Nordstrom's up big. A firm trying to rip. If you guys got numbers on those two, I'd love to see them. That John. Ulta beat. It looks like sales came slightly under. They raised their outlook. So beat on EPS. Looks like, I mean, they missed by what? 10 million on 2.5 billion on the estimate side. Someone else is saying there's 2.53 billion. Someone says Ulta actually beat on top and bottom. But guiding up. That John. A firm is trying to rip. Ulta's now starting to move slowly. All right, Marvell. Barely. I'm calling that in line. Yeah, Ulta volume's garbage. People don't want to buy $400+ stocks going into Jackson Hole. I think that's the lesson. John W. Nordstrom. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Ulta's up a little bit, but not a lot of volume. Not a lot of follow through. A firm volatile as fuck. Who could have seen that coming? Now Ulta's moving up a little bit faster. Still shit garbage volume. A firm is all over the place. Sounds about right. Spencer, this is an interesting question. Do I think home immobility with rates is contributing to stronger retail consumers? I don't know. It's an interesting idea, Spencer. I actually think right now, the fact that we've seen declining inflation is pushing up believe it or not, real wages, because the wages component has still been strong. So people now have more money. Ulta is just flirting with green on the day now, finally. Yeah, after our volume today is dog shit. Chances are the real earnings play was to not play anything tonight with Jackson Hole. Yeah, by the way, I'm seeing Ulta beat on sales. I've seen people saying 2.5 versus 2.51. I got other ones saying 2.53 billion. And what I'm noticing here on their numbers is 2.53. So I'm assuming that they actually beat on revenue and earnings. NVIDIA went red. Let's pretend like we're surprised. It's okay. Blues Clues, good question here. What's the importance of Jackson Hole? Jackson Hole is like the parent-teacher conference you used to have, or your parents used to have with you, or rather with your teacher, where they would describe like how you were performing, but you weren't there and there was no report card. So tomorrow, what we essentially get to hear about and learn about is how do central bankers, particularly Jay Powell and the Fed, how do they see the U.S. economy and the state of the U.S. economy, particularly moving forward? It replaces FOMC. There's no interest rate implications. But last year, we walked into Jackson Hole with very low interest rates, despite the fact that inflation at the time was 9% year over year, and the market was pricing in rate cuts. So Jay Powell smacked us the fuck down. I mean, how the fuck can Jay Powell be much more hawkish? I know. It was a nice analogy. Thank you, sir. MP Tosca, I don't know. I expect nothing. I expect tomorrow to be a nothing burger. The problem is today, if everyone priced in bullshit, it's hard to ignore the fact that the economy continues to do strong. Right? And if Jay Powell is not going to tell us explicitly we're getting more hikes, I don't know why today wouldn't at least partially reverse, but we'll see. B Hood says, look at inflation. It was goddamn transitory. You know I agree with you. But at least a bulk of the inflation was transitory. A bulk of it. The irony is the toughest part of the inflation front is the part that monetarily we did fuck up. Housing. Spencer, I like when the economy is bad because you can say, in this economy all the time and it makes you happy. Selling feet pics in this, or giving out feet pics in this economy. Weren't I expecting store closures? No, previously they closed stores. During COVID, Ulta famously closed a bunch of locations. Ulta's doing pretty well, but again, volume's dog shit. We're not seeing a lot of movement, guys. We're not. Take care, Stukel Kegs. B Hood, yeah, was also pointed out on the Compound and Friends. Not the Fed buying up all those MBSs anymore. Where the fuck would mortgage rates have actually landed? Yep. Imagine if they bought slabs instead, student loan asset-backed securities. What would have been the difference? Right? Big Cat Market Maker, then college education would cost 5 times as much? I don't know about that. I don't know what the relationship would have actually turned into. The reason why I say that, I get your logic. Basically, if we had a long-standing policy to buy them, absolutely, yes. But I don't think colleges would have been able to adjust the cost of college as fast as homeowners would when interest rates went down. That's what I believe. Yep, so it looks like Ulta with a double beat and raise. Yep. They're calling it out. They also beat on revenue. I see some of these sources on Twitter saying otherwise, but no, it turns out 2.53 billion. So they did beat. Eric Jones is making a good point here. He doubts Powell says anything too shocking, but the elephant in the drawing room remains all the 2024 2025 rate cuts priced in spite of solid GDP growth and sticky wage inflation. Powell might only need to signal markets are too optimistic about rate cuts to spook some investors. My counterpoint to that is the summary of economic projections put out by the Fed has rate cuts next year. I would disagree with that. They could totally, J Powell could say tomorrow, we're not anywhere near cutting rates. No one thinks rates get cut this year. But rates being cut next year, that's the Fed telling you it's happening. Side note, the FDIC finished selling their banking crisis MBSs. Ooh, neat. B Hood. The record on government planned new cities isn't the best globally. Yeah. Remember, when you guys want to talk about private companies creating cities, famously, what? Orlando? I know Hershey, Pennsylvania. B Hood, you're accumulating more Queb and TLT. Oh my. China and bonds. I respect it, sir. Isn't Anaheim all owned by the Anaheim Corp? Is it Big Cat Market Maker is like what came first? Right? Because like I know there was a place, Hershey, Pennsylvania, before there was a the Hershey company. But the Hershey company built out a specific town in Hershey to house the workers. That's why it's like a corporate. So I don't know if like Anaheim existed before. Yeah. Deep freaking value. Marvell disappointed. You have to see what their commentary is. Marvell never like blows it out of the water or really, quite frankly, misses. Spencer, if I said what I expect tomorrow from Jackson Hole, I think Jackson Hole's a nothing burger. I think Jackson Hole's a nothing burger. I think basically J Powell replays his speech from the prior FOMC. I will sit there and say, I think in all likelihood, let me show you something. For people thinking you're getting an overly bearish Jayhawk, correction, overly hawkish JPOW, look, remember, this is the price of the 10-year, the inverse to the yield. Look what it did, meaning yields went up through the month of August. All right? But more importantly, through July, it was also going down. When we go to last time, you rose up deeply into August, and then it was Jackson Hole that pushed it down because Jackson Hole was very early on. So I think, if anything, look where yields were back then. Now compare where yields are now. I don't think J-Pow needs to be hawkish. I don't think he necessarily wants to be overly dovish, but he doesn't need to be hawkish to accomplish, quote, tightened financial conditions. I think he sees they're tightened already. B-Hood, you point out in the V-Bears, when Xi Jinping does change tack on stimulus, making it more consumer-centric, it will come out of nowhere. 100% agree. Everyone kept waiting for China to make announcements over things like zero COVID, and literally it just happened. Like every province basically did it at once. There was no central announcement until like the 2 days later. Check out Domo if you want to see a dead body. Oh, you know we down for that. Get a stick. And damn. Application software not in the business of making money. I assume they missed. Zero COVID being over didn't come out of nowhere. It came from riots on the streets. It definitely helped. I truly believe China's policymakers wanted to move away from zero COVID. Those protests did them a favor. Policymakers were like, shit, we can show ourselves as being responsive. Keep in mind, anyone who protested against Xi Jinping or the government, you didn't see those fuckers. But people who are out petitioning or protesting against the against zero COVID, I think Xi Jinping was happy. Big dumb investor, higher for longer would be perceived hawkish, though, right? What does higher for longer mean? Define it. Define higher for longer. Because we've heard that statement now for over a year. I think there's an interpretation that higher for longer, specifically focus on the word higher, that people keep assuming rates are going significantly higher. No, and I think the Fed is trying to figure out the nicest way to say, well, if inflation keeps doing what we're seeing, no, we're at terminal rates right now. The local provincial got 100% wanted to end zero COVID. They're the ones feeling the pain close to the ground. She and the Politburo Central are all isolated from. Yeah, but there's also a belief that despite that being the case, they were all very attuned to the macro data. And the Communist Party is very, very attuned to the idea of people's essentially GDP per capita and wealth standards going down. Big dumb investor, holding rates past 2% inflation? Interesting. I wouldn't put it this way. If Jay Powell came out tomorrow and said, and I don't think he's saying this, okay? He will not say this. But if Jay Powell came out and said, this is as high as rates go, I will cut by 100 basis points 1 year from today, that's it. No more FOMC meetings. I assume the market goes nuts upward. The market says, what, take another year of this? We're fine. We're fine. They could even tell you they're going to raise rates next meeting, but then hold things steady. And they said, trust us. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to cut next year. All right. The market would go up because they're like, okay, cool, certainty. But he would never do that. Higher for longer. I assume you're referring to my weekend. Yeah. See how Ulta's doing? Are they getting love? Are they getting love? They're getting some love. They're getting some love. How's Marvell doing? Marvell's earnings just at the headline numbers didn't look that interesting. Mo, it means that 1 year paper will be impossible to get. Sounds like a problem for all you bond nerds. No. You're right. It almost certainly has serious implications. I'm just not smart enough to understand them. Yep, so it looks like Marvell's guidance is in line. Yep. Yeah, mark my words, promo, something tells me tomorrow we may be best off jumping into Broadcom. I hope Broadcom gets a little bit beat up. Funny thing is Broadcom's trading at 19 forward PE right now, despite this big push up. This company was trading at like 14 or 15 PE for way too long. Over under on Jay Powell's speech being longer than 6.5 minutes. I think over, but not by much. I think his speech is less than 15 minutes. But it would be interesting if this is one of the longer speeches to acknowledge the strength in the economy, what their observations on inflation are. All right, let's see Workday for a second. Looks like Workday is getting some love. Intuit, not so much. Now, Affirm, this is the big one. They were apparently going nuts in all directions. And looks like, oh, wow. Affirm is up. Buy now, pay later. Not the kind of company I'm interested in. AI still plays. I'll find out. Nordstrom's up, by the way. Really? Nordstrom sees fiscal 23 adjusted EPS $1.80 to $2.20 against $1.99 estimate. Holy shit. Nordstrom crushed EPS, by the way, this quarter. Skelling, what do we got? Financial horror show Affirm still losing 60 cents on every dollar of recurring revenue. This is not a real business model. God bless them. Much later to a collection agency. Steely, I'm also curious about that because all the decrease we've seen in inflation, and we legitimately have, has not had any help from shelter. And all the economists are expecting it. Cream is some young guy. Why is Affirm up? Because I'm assuming the people who buy it. Wow. Because their headline numbers shows that their revenue is up and they lost less money than expected, even though it looks like a horror show. Build-A-Bear. Oh, they are always doing well. Yeah, it went up because it did not go down. Because it beat. Yep. My logic is impeccable. Yeah, by the way, NVIDIA really ended red. Well, it's currently red. I don't know if it ended red. NVIDIA actually ended red. Amazing. And Bitoska says, not everyone cares about their company making money. To that point, how's AMC ended today? Oh, down 27%. It's brutal. That's brutal. How did BBY? They ended today up 3%. That makes sense. Affirm was one of your biggest misses. You saw some post from a guy that had seen its code on the Amazon webpage before it was announced. Ooh. The NVIDIA covered call ETF ended bright green. Oh, it's a great ETF. NVDY. It's brilliant. B-Hood, my understanding, CIA said it was a missile. But I thought they did at least. I know there was a report that one of the passengers, unfortunately, one of the completely innocent people, like the stewardesses on the plane, she had mentioned to her family that the plane was delayed. It was going through repairs. Turkey McNugget says AMC has gone down 100% in the last 4 days. Just wait. Just wait. There's more. New York Times says it was a bomb. Yeah. Here's what's fucked up. President Putin sent his condolences to all the families of the people who died. U.S. Intel says possible missile. Department of Justice says possible explosion. Venkat, what's my takeaway about the market's reaction today about NVIDIA's earnings? The entire market today, to me, traded like it wanted to get the fuck out of the way for Jackson Hole tomorrow. I don't think today's action had anything to do with NVIDIA, to be fair. If anything, the fact that NVIDIA is going to end today or is currently roughly flat, while AMD's down 7%, tells you that if NVIDIA did bad, NVIDIA would be a horror show right now. Allegedly, Wagner is going to march back to Moscow. I heard a report that Belarus was cutting off internet to the Wagner camps in Belarus. Daddy Longcall says, 10 people to kill one. Ah, but there was more than one target. When people talk about Wagner, they always talk about Prigozhin. They don't talk about, what's his name? Dmitry, oh, fuck. Lutskin? What's his fucking name? Hold on. Like, the plane, first of all, the plane had all the leaders on it. But while everyone talks about, it's not Prigozhin. There's a second guy. It's Utsnik. What the fuck's his name? You don't know about this guy for a reason. Yeah, was Wagner named after the other guy, like his personality, whatever? Not Prince. Thank you. Dmitry Utkin. Utkin. Let me show you a picture of this guy. You'll see why he doesn't show up a lot. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I looked at him for yesterday. Dmitry Utkin. Utkin. All right. You do not see him in a lot of places because he is covered with Nazi tattoos and white supremacist tattoos. Wagner was the call sign for the boss that died. So Prigozhin or Utkin. Utkin. Am I pronouncing it right? Ah, Nazi Skeletor. You have a general distaste for Nazis, well established to me. Looks like a bad guy from Street Fighter. Yep. Nazi Skeletor is a great name. I actually like that one. But yeah. Yeah, Dmitry Utkin's considered like it's him and Prigozhin who quote lead Wagner, and I've heard different reports saying which one's the real one in charge. And I've heard some of them suggest Nazi Skeletor is actually the real dude. Anyway. I'm with you, Steely. I want to see if there's more files going to be released. Compromising materials. Garfo, why would they all be on the same plane that registered a manifest? Wasn't there more than one plane? I know there was one plane that got shot down, but I thought there was like 2 or 3 planes. They were actually, but yeah. True story. For a lot of companies, and I've seen this actually happen in the past, companies have policies oftentimes about how many executives can fly on the same plane, specifically to stop a situation where a plane crash wipes out company leadership. Yeah, 10 homeless people now unaccounted for. Yep. The policy where you work, that policy starts at the VP level. Yeah, it's high level, but I've seen it in the real life. The president and sales VP couldn't fly together. Yep. Yeah, the warmongering mercenaries have HR policies. Smart ones. Should have been on a yacht. Some high-end yachts have anti-missile systems. How about anti-torpedo systems? Hmm? Hmm? Daddy Long calls. Companies should take out life insurance policies on employees. Believe it or not, some companies do. Yeah, some companies do. It's true. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. And I will catch you all tomorrow. Hold on, let's go back and see who we can raid. Some bonds. I wanted to make that a category. A lot of crypto traders. I don't know if I want to. Hold on. Raid the chess girls. All right, guys. I'm giving you an ape. Brad's gazebo. I'm giving you an ape. Be nice. Be respectful. Is Skrelly streaming? Yeah, he is. Okay. Yeah, I'll rate him. All right, guys. Say hi to Skrelly for me. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care, Sick Chief. And everyone, stay hydrated. Stay moist.